Every once in a generation, there's a master craftsman that makes a tool that's absolutely timeless. These tools represent the perfect marriage of form and function, and the master craftsmen who made them have shown an unbelievable ability to extract every last drop of performance out of the starting materials. Those seeking to perform at the highest level find themselves drawn to these tools. In the late 1600s and early 1700s, Antonio Stradivari and his descendants developed a violin that was so perfect in its sound qualities that it's still sought by the top musicians in the world to this day. No one has ever been able to replicate the unique sound of a Stradivarius. In the modern era, there's a master stock maker that has echoes of Antonio Stradivari. This is a man who can take a raw piece of wood and shape it into that perfect marriage of form and function that people seek out. Just like the Stradivarius violin in the musical world, the stocks that are made by this man are sought by some of the best shooters in the country. Just like any fine piece of art, these aren't made by a machine. These are made by hand just like they have been for generations. Join us at the Clay Lab today as we investigate what makes this stock maker and his stocks unique in the shotgun sports world. We're going to take you step by step through the entire stock making process and answer that one critical question that you probably have. Am I ready for a custom stock? Today is the first in a series of videos that's going to be looking at what it takes to create a custom stock. Now that process starts with making a pattern stock. A pattern stock is made from a lower quality piece of wood than a final stock and is meant to be shot over several months to get your fit just perfect.
So when we first got started, Jim, as awesome as he is, he's already got like a Krieghoff, a K80 receiver sitting in there so he can do the inletting for the actual stock itself, right, to actually marry the blank that he has ready for you when you show up.
We're going to start shaping our grip out. Everything's big, bulky. Just go ahead and grab it.
Okay.
Kind of point it, get your hand on it. Yep. Go ahead and put it on your shoulder. Everything's going to feel really awkward to start with, but we'll start getting rid of some wood here.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
One of the most important reference points in creating a stock is the front face of the trigger, and this is used to measure a variety of things. First off, he's going to start with something called the length of grip, which measures from the front face of the trigger down to the bottom of the grip.
Okay. It'll start feeling different pretty fast here. There we go.
First thing we worked on was the length of grip, right? So that is how naturally we're, depending on where my fingertip, where I am as a shooter is used to actually putting my finger on the actual trigger, that's what we worked on first, and that it was natural. And he also helped me bring my hands down correctly so that way the angle from my forearm through into my hand was actually straighter, so that way it would help with also recoil as well and comfortability. So that was really nice. And then we started working in the actual grip itself, so how it feels, the placement of my thumb specifically throughout here. He helped me bring my hand back into a position that actually is much more fitting for the type of shooting that I like to do. I think it goes without saying how excited I am today. I've been waiting quite a while for this, and really excited the day's here.
As Jim's working on that length of grip, he's simultaneously working on the palm swell, which helps keep your hand down in that lower correct position.
A little bit further forward, or about right there?
Oh, right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not going to tell me that I have tiny little man hands and...
Well, it's not.
I don't think he's going to have to shave that much off of mine, Jeremy.
I try and leave the patterns plenty big, so it's easier for me to cut wood off. You want your thumb a little bit more over the top.
Yeah, so sometimes I have problems coming over the top, but
Okay.
I understand I need to...
Okay, so and that's part of me just moving this back here, so that's all
Okay.
easy to do still. Starting to feel pretty centered up here though?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm stretching for this at all.
Yeah. It just feels large still?
Yeah, just a tad bit. I mean, the
Yeah.
in here still feels good.
I'm just trying to get it positioned here,
Yep.
and then we'll start trimming
Yep,
size
but
down.
yeah, I feel relaxed.
Okay.
Like, I don't feel like I'm
Move
stressing.
this back and let our thumb come over it a little bit more here.
Okay. So like when I first started, I was really terrible about my thumb being so far forward and my hand
Kind of
grip.
straight, and
Yeah, I would
the hand
actually
roll up
I would actually rest my thumb
on the
this.
safety.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then to like develop a callus on my thumb.
Oh, wow.
Because I was that bad at this.
Right now I'm just marking center line so I can get my grip moved to the right position here. Just marking to a cast, but I want to see where my center line is so I know working on our thumb position here.
Okay.
Then this will tell me our drop and everything later, but right now we're way high. But more concerned with our grip here to start, then we'll start working everything down.
After getting JP's grip just right, Jim moved on to working on other stock dimensions. This included the cast, which affects the left to right impact of your shotgun's pattern. Throughout this phase, Jim was carefully watching how JP mounts his gun. He'd take the gun back, make little fine adjustments with his tools, and give it right back to JP. The next reference point that Jim uses is the rib line, which is just like it sounds. Along with the front face of the trigger, the rib line is the second key landmark that's used to measure just about everything on the shotgun stock. In this case, we're working on the drop at the cone. This affects the up and down impact of your pattern. The unbelievable part of this process is that Jim was working on both the drop at comb and the cast simultaneously, with, periodic visits from Molly the Wonder Beagle.
It should start taking shape pretty good here. Feel better still in the center?
Yeah, it feels good.
Locking in just a little large, not too bad.
No, I mean, it feels really good.
Okay. This will change a little bit as we trim down. We're gonna have to readjust that, but everything else looking pretty good. Thumb feel pretty good size-wise.
It does.
On the fingers there, fingers don't look bunched up. They look all pretty relaxed. Yeah, so, okay, let's start shaping the comb and cast everything again. Go ahead and mount it. I'll just watch a couple little things here.
He was really hunched forward.
Okay, you got him stood up.
Getting a little upright because he's facing the.
It was at this point that Will Fennell stopped by, and this is a great time to talk about how wonderful it was to have him there during this process. Now, a little bit of background, Will is our coach. He works with JP and myself on a regular basis, and so he's familiar with what we do correctly and what we do wrong. He was also the one that felt like both of us were ready to go ahead with custom stocks. Now, if you talk to Jim Greenwood, what he'll tell you is that his stocks aren't just for elite shooters. He actually recommends getting a custom stock when you're just a couple years into shooting. At this point, you've learned how to mount a shotgun, but you probably haven't developed too many bad habits. Next up, using that same front face of the trigger, we're going to measure length of pull, which is from the trigger to the midpoint of the stock. Now, this is critical to helping you with your felt recoil. At the same time, he's also adjusting the pitch angle, which is the angle that the end of your stock sits at. This mainly affects the comfort of the stock as it contacts your shoulder.
Adjusted the length of his gun.
Length and pitch right there, yeah. Just making some few adjustments. Still got plenty there to keep playing with.
I know you're going to hate it, but I like the way it looked.
Nice and comfortable. Get you upright. The length's getting better. Still could play with our pitch a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. That's going to be really high.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Point it at me here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Should be way high, so
Yeah,
that'll come down easy. Trying to leave lots of wood so we can come off of it there.
Jim was pretty conservative to the adjustments that he was making on JP's stock. You can take wood off, but you can't really add wood back on.
Still high, but we're coming down. So that's our goal, is keep changing it here to get full contact on our shoulder.
Okay.
So we got plenty of length because I got to trim for a pad yet, so I'm just playing and experimenting with length and everything right now. Now we'll start marking for our cast as well here. Give me my center so I know we're going to need a little bit of trim off of the side for cast, but we'll keep taking our height down to start with here.
As the day progressed, it was fascinating to watch this process and see how this block of wood was transforming into a stock.
Try this again. Even as we come down, it's starting to get tight on our thumb again, so we keep making adjustments on there too. Yeah, I got hooked the first time I shot it, and I was in 89.
Yeah.
And still
Still
doing
at it.
Yes. So our height isn't too crazy high there.
Okay.
I mean, we're not way off, but I'm going to play with our height here a little bit and pull a little bit more out of the side here.
Okay.
Just get it off that. So what happens too is we got to make sure we get our nose turned in a little bit, gets the jawbone off of there.
Gotcha.
If we try and keep our head straight, we got to. It's hard to get the eye down the center.
Yeah.
So with the nose just slightly turned.
Just slightly in?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Just nose slightly turned in.
Okay.
Eyes are nice and level. I said it doesn't take a lot of turn in there just to try and get lined up. Like I said, our eyes are nice and level.
Yeah.
Those are the things we're looking for hard.
Yes.
Go ahead and point at me there. Yep. Okay. Play it just a little bit more and we're about ready to shoot.
Yeah. It's starting
Shoot
to feel
on a
good.
pattern board and just kind of give me an idea where we're at.
After a couple solid hours of work, Jim took JP out to the patterning board to figure out exactly where his shotgun was shooting. One thing that Jim pointed out is that you're always going to mount your gun a little bit different in his trailer than you do at the patterning board, and then that's even different from how you shoot live targets, but it's all important.
See where you can see the holes good.
Okay.
Start with the right hole.
The right hole.
Yep. Just want to act like it's a target going away from us. We don't want to aim at it, but we don't want to be too, we don't want to just come up here and sit and hold and aim at it. We want to kind of come up, hold, and then shoot. So just nice and controlled. Okay. And it's always a little awkward trying to shoot at a stationary object, so take that into account.
Okay.
I'm just trying to watch form, make sure you're consistent back here.
Okay. Same thing.
Yeah, one more time at that hole, if you can still see the hole good. And our barrel's coming up a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Go to the second hole, can you see that hole good, or go to the far left one if you need to.
So that one felt the most natural for me to do, though.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just
You're
didn't
going to
get
tell me I
into it
just
as
suck.
much.
That's what it is.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
You're just going to tell me I suck, and that's why it's happening.
I hate shooting pattern board, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I hate doing this. So just trying to get consistent, that's all we're after. Okay. That looked better. The one that was high, you were still moving and everything else, so.
Okay.
Go to the left hole now. How's the grip feel? Feel pretty good?
Grip feels good.
Not even thinking about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm just trying to look at the hole.
Yep.
And then for me, like, because I'm trying to make sure I'm obviously like not staring at my barrel, matching the bead with the hole and that type of stuff, like that felt right. Like
That one did?
what I would have shot at anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I shoot a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But I think I've always thought I've shot.
So one more time at that hole. Okay, that looked more comfortable position.
Yes. And it
shows we're just a little bit high, not crazy high.
yeah, but it's because I have obviously like some muzzle awareness.
Yes. Yeah, you
like,
have to. I mean, peripheral, we're picking it up
yeah.
without, but not trying to place it perfectly on
Oh
the
yeah,
hole.
I'm nowhere even near that thing. Like I know if I walked up there, I'm probably like 4 to 5 inches below that thing.
But that's where you kind of shoot a target that way too?
Yeah.
Subconsciously?
Yeah.
So we're going to trim a little bit of the height off.
Okay.
Said we're running a little bit high. The middle one we didn't shoot left of. Everything else was just a little left, which shows some cast. Is it hitting us in the jaw when we're shooting or not?
Not to where
It's,
I would notice after only the amount of times we've shot.
but after 100, you would start noticing.
Probably after 100, I don't think it would like hurt, but I'd notice it.
Okay. Okay. So that tells me some things too. We're going to pull a little bit more toe out of it.
Okay.
Pull that side down a little bit. Probably when you get into it harder, you probably feel it less, don't you?
Yeah.
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 Just because you're leaning forward, so you get more of an anchor here.
Yes.
Kind of turns the jaw out a little bit.
It
So we
does.
keep tweaking on that.
Yeah.
But everything's pretty close. You said you had a couple that were high, but everything was kind of off on those.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah,
you
and
shot
those were
way
the ones
high.
that felt the weirdest
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah. So that's why we keep shooting, going, okay, it's just getting more natural, getting the feel of it coming in. Well, we're finished up here. I said I'm going to pull a little bit off there. Cast is pretty good. I'm going to tweak, like I said, more toe out
Okay.
to get us off the jawbone.
Another important topic to cover real quick is toe in versus toe out. And this is based on the heel and the toe of the shotgun, and also based off of a line drawn down the rib and going vertically through the shotgun. Now with the toe out just a little bit towards the right-hand side, that counts as toe out for a right-handed shooter. Now just ignore JP's objectively terrible mustache and look at the shotgun. You can see the stock has a little bit of a twist, and that keeps it off his jaw. Now that JP had shown where his shotgun was patterning, it was time to head back for a few final adjustments. This is where Jim's years of experience really shine.
We're a little fat here, so we'll start trimming all that down.
Okay.
We saw it there. Yeah, we're going to take the height down just a little bit. Going to pull some more toe out to get it off of his jaw a little bit. It's not irritating the jaw, but he's feeling a little bit more pressure on the jaw than instead of our anchor point up in the cheek. Height is pretty close to where we want to be. We're going to adjust for his thumb coming over. Just watch him shoot. The thumb's still wanting to lay forward a little bit. So we're going to pull a little bit out of there. A little bit off here, but the grip looked pretty good otherwise. And recoil was pretty good into the shoulder.
Was.
And we don't even have a pad on it, so.
Yeah, actually I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing that I didn't even think about, because it felt good
Yeah.
shooting it and didn't even have a pad on
So
it.
if we can get that gun coming straight back,
Yeah.
no muzzle jump, not slipping and sliding, it makes the felt recoil feel better.
Yeah.
So our body can absorb instead of the butt moving.
Yep.
Chafes, then you start feeling more recoil, everything in the shoulder. So we can get, and with the palm swell helps, get a hand comfortable. It's helped taking some of the recoil through our hand and being able to hang on to it more comfortable than everything else. So the gun's not bucking and slipping out of our hands trying to control it. The gun's totally under control from recoil.
Yeah.
It helps us transition from shot to shot much faster too. On a simul pair, when all you have time to do is bang bang, the gun's moved, slipped out of our shoulder, we're trying to make adjustments and try and get to the target, stuff we don't have time to do. So we're trying to get it where it's just bang and right to the second target. Everything's still in control and in place. So hopefully with all this helps the mount become more natural. So the more comfortable we can make it, the easier it is to repeat that. If it's awkward and doesn't feel right, it's hard to keep doing it over. You're going to keep moving it in different positions.
Yes.
So that's the key, is I'm setting all that up, get my comb, all this set, then I can bring all my other lines into position. Said I'm not worried about this side at all until I get this side set. Then I'll start dressing it up and making it look like a stock. A little bit more toe out to get the bottom line of this stock off of his jaw. So by setting the toe out here, we're getting where I can get rid of wood out of this side, lower on the stock, and get it out of his jaw, and help keep the gun nice and straight. Sometimes there gets to be lots of lines on my back, trying to remember which ones to go to. Yep.
Very comfortable.
Yep. So it helps us control. It gets our hand locked in good, without having to have a death grip on that grip now.
Yes.
We can be hanging onto it, but everything's in control good. Okay. Feel better on the jaw a little bit?
It does.
Okay, let's go shoot some targets before Will gets out there.
Okay.
Unlike many custom fitters, Jim Greenwood insists on seeing his clients shoot moving targets with their new stock. Jim recommends that you have all of the factors the same as you usually would, and that includes using some of your typical ammunition as well as the vest that you like to shoot in. You'll notice that during this process, Jim wasn't watching the targets, he was watching JP shoot. And he was seeing how he mounts a little bit differently than he did back in the trailer, as we mentioned before. And that's a critical piece of information for him to have.
Third on the front.
You'll notice that Will was also around, kind of watching JP from the background to see how he was mounting the gun and make sure he was doing it naturally. After a couple decades on the job, Jim has a really good eye for how a shotgun should be properly mounted and is able to make a lot of these adjustments and corrections to your shooting form on his own.
So go ahead and mount. Get your head in position. Okay.
Keep your head
Do
there.
that again. Now dismount. Okay, now you can turn your head and look. Call for it.
Oh,
See how everything looked cleaner during the
yeah.
mount?
It's actually less.
Making me seasick watching
Yeah.
this shit.
I can't get him higher here.
Well,
Tried to get him there. Can't get him.
fuck, I can do that. No, go ahead and leave it in there. Mount.
Oh, no way. No way in hell.
Now put your head back there.
Yeah.
Leave your head still.
Yeah.
Lower the butt down the front of your chest. Come on, just lower the butt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's
thought you meant
okay.
like to
Yeah,
feel.
yeah. Look over here. Call for it.
Oh.
Perfect.
No. I can't. I mean, you moved me like from like here to like here, and that's that feeling I get that the barrel starts tipping this way.
He fixes that.
Yeah, but I don't. He can't fix all of me. He only has so much to work with. Paw.
Okay, so practice mount. Get it up there. Up there. Okay. Head, leave your head there. Now bring the butt down to a FTAS mount. Okay.
Paw.
Bring it to our face. Still gets us up here.
Yeah.
Centered in this target.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume the roughness is because of the wood.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you had dust on it
like
and everything else. So.
I like it. All right, Jim, you know some stuff about some
No
stuff.
jaw.
Nothing on the jaw, because it doesn't even touch my
When
jaw.
I get up there, yeah.
Yeah, when I'm up here. So if that's the way I'm shooting now, it's the way I'm shooting now.
Okay.
And it is a lot easier to come up to the same spot when I know I'm actually just bringing it straight up to my face, rather than what I was doing before, which was almost like a halfway in between, my head coming down and this meeting the gun a lot. So I like it. Makes sense.
I'm just gonna blend that a little bit. I'll sand that. And start trimming this side of the stock down. Make it look like a stock now.
Awesome.
Now it's my job to make it look good.
Cool.
This was probably my favorite part of the entire process. This is where you really see JP's stock being born and coming into its final form. And up until this point, you really couldn't tell what the characteristics were of the underlying wood, but as Jim took more and more wood away, you could actually see this was a beautiful piece of American walnut. The mind-blowing thing here is that this is just a pattern stock. This isn't even a final stock, and the level of fit and finish that Jim was putting into this was just remarkable.
So my critical lines are getting the grip set, then getting my comb height and cast set, and then I start shaping the outside down to make it look flowing it in to look like a stock, taking the offside down, bringing my bottom line up, and just working on those lines. What I call the non-critical, they're just making it look like a stock should look and getting the weight proportioned. Then we'll also, at the end here, once we get a pad on, we'll play with the balance point, because all the woods vary a little bit in weight, so we get the balance point where we want it. If we got to hollow it or add a little bit of lead, a little bit of weight, just so we get the balance and feel of it right too. Then we get a shake down around the receiver, everything, and get it sanded out.
And one of my favorite parts, and I'll point this out since he's got it on the video, is this piece, right? The way that you do your pistol grip type work. Like, when I see people with a gun like that, I'm like, I bet Jim crushed it. He crushed that stock, you know? So that's how I typically know someone shooting a Greenwood stock.
Yeah, and I didn't set out having it my signature. It just came that way. But everybody goes, man, it's your grip. I'm like, it didn't come out. I didn't set out going, this is what's going to be my signature. Just
that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up was a little sanding to improve the look and feel of the stock. One final measurement and Jim was ready to cut off just enough wood to fit a recoil pad. In case you're worried, this isn't how Jim attaches his final recoil pads, but this was to allow JP to go out and shoot it a bit more.
What's that you use to fill them?
These just black super glue. Just to get them dressed up a little bit here. My aerosol can don't have much aerosol in it.
Wow, that looks pretty. Yeah. I like that. Even for pattern stuff like fixing things like that, that's a pretty way to do it.
Yeah.
What was that other stuff that you sprayed on there?
Just an accelerator to make the glue dry.
Okay.
Because super glue doesn't dry till you take the air away from it.
Oh, okay.
Once all the pores had been filled, Jim went back and sanded it just a little bit more and got it right ready to apply the spray-on finish. He did this in several coats and got it to match the forend pretty nicely.
You got to sand one spot. Let that soak in and I'll spray some more.
At the end of the afternoon, Jim did about 5 coats of finish on JP's stock.
So that's going to pretty much dry right now?
Yeah, it'll dry in about 15-20 minutes.
Nice.
And we'll put some more finish on it.
Once again, for a pattern stock, I think this turned out beautifully, and JP was really happy with it too. You'll hear from him at the very end of the video to tell you more about his thoughts on this whole process. Now, once the finish had dried, it was time to attach the actual recoil pad. And so Jim ground down the end of the stock, measured the holes for placing the pad, and then secured the pad in place. Finally, there was just a little bit of grinding and some last-minute adjustments to the pad, and it was ready to go. Before giving the gun back to JP, Jim had one last important task.
We're going to measure the cast and then the drop at the comb and heel. Just in case something would happen to your pattern stocks, we know where to go back to, where to start again. And then when we go to the final stock, I have measurements to go back to as well when I'm shaping that down to get where I want to be. So we're making our cast at the comb nose. And then at the heel here. Okay. And then our drop at the comb then is, we'll take the measurements off of here. It's going to be a drop at comb. So I'll write those on our chart. And our length of pull.
Now, JP couldn't resist making one last upgrade to his Krieghoff, and that was a brand new receiver. It's a gold standard, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And so you can see here the finished stock. My gun is just to the right, JP's is on the left, and they just turned out beautifully. Now, there's just one thing missing from this video. I think Jeremy needs to try out his brand new stock in style. As you guys can probably tell, getting a custom stock with Jim Greenwood is a very personal experience. And because of that, now that JP's had time to reflect on his entire day, I wanted you guys to hear directly from him.
After spending the day with Jim, I learned a few things about him. 1, he is a master of his craft. 2, he puts a high emphasis on quality. And 3, he's a quiet but funny guy when you get him talking. On a more serious note, he gave me his undivided attention, and he had a genuine interest in making sure my gun shot where I was looking, and the fit was just unmatched. Besides the obvious overall fit, the grip is my favorite part of the stock. Of course, the aesthetics are very pleasing, and it's hard to miss the iconic Greenwood pistol grip. It fits like a glove. Or better yet, it fits like a tailored suit made just for me. Of course, there's nothing wrong with shooting things off the shelf, but when something is made custom for you, I think it delivers confidence. You pair that confidence with a little bit of skill, or maybe even a little bit of luck, and I think you've dramatically increased your chances. It goes without saying how many national and world champions shoot Greenwood stocks. One of the things I would emphasize is that the Greenwood experience is not just for the elite champions. Greenwood is a man of the people. Working with him is an invaluable experience. He doesn't just make something for you while you sit in another room and it magically fits you. You do it together. And with the years of experience he has, I'd say ask questions, be open-minded, and you may even just learn something. So thank you again for joining us through this experience. I hope we were able to answer some of your questions, or maybe even convince you to subscribe to our channel. We have a busy schedule for 2023, and we hope you'll join us on it. So thanks again, and see you on the next one.